Hi everyone and welcome, and today I'll be talking about the second time that YouTooz has actually done this, where they stole a design for a smaller artist, or at least took inspiration off of them, and gave them basically nothing inside of payment compared to what they actually made off the design. In another situation where basically someone bought the website that YouTooz wanted, and they got extremely mad, so they blocked him off all their platforms, and then whenever he tried to buy any sort of orders on YouTooz, they refunded them and didn't let him have them, so basically just denied him purchasing anything, and then apparently sent a cease and desist letter claiming defamation whenever he talked about it. So in short, YouTooz is just like a really scummy company, and I had no idea this was actually going on. So if you want to support a small channel, make sure you guys go and like the video and subscribe, because it really helps me out a lot, especially since this is a new channel. I could really use your support. Also, it'll make sure everybody sees this video so people will really know how scummy this company actually is, and how brands, no matter how friendly they seem or relatable, they are not your friends. So the biggest situation where YouTooz was stealing from a smaller creator slash artist is where YouTooz actually went on Twitter and basically a fan's plushie design for Rambo, who is one of these Minecraft creators from the Dream SMP and growing extremely massively right now, so it's obvious that they wanted to make a plushie because of that reason. So they just decided, hey, we're going to steal this person's plushie design, we're going to change it up a little bit, and it's basically like the copy my homework meme but changed it a little bit so nobody can tell. And in reality, you could definitely tell, and this tweet got over 43,000 likes of Jam saying, "Ayo YouTooz, where's my bag?" after they tweeted out saying, "Hear me out, Rambo plushie," then had the design completely stolen by YouTooz. Except they made it a little bit worse, just to seal the deal. Now after this entire situation actually took place of YouTooz basically stealing their design, they contacted Jam because of how much the tweet was actually blowing up, and Jam actually said, "Y'all, here's the DM. Since I can't prove it wasn't my design, I can't ask for a percentage, even if it looks similar." So instead of this massive message that YouTooz actually sent Jam, they basically just said, hey, we didn't see anything. That shows that they took inspiration, and they're going to be paying them a $500 commission fee because they don't want to be unethical or something. Now, $500 might seem like a lot to the average person, especially if you're like a minor or whatever, but $500 is definitely not anywhere close to what they actually deserve, considering how YouTooz definitely made $100,000 or more off of this plushie. Also, I would say that YouTooz should have to pay them even more because of how much trouble Jam actually had to go through having their entire idea stolen and everything without permission. So I would say all the trouble that actually was caused should make them have to pay even more. And especially since the only reason they decided to pay this small creator at all is because of the situation blowing up so much, and they basically did it as a PR move to avoid having bad publicity on their company. There were also a ton of people saying that Jam should sue YouTooz, which is just not going to be possible considering how big of a company it actually is, and how Jam is actually a minor and they don't have money to even sue YouTooz in the first place. So it's definitely sad how YouTooz is actually taking advantage of these young artists. Now moving on to the next situation where YouTooz has taken advantage of a small artist, and this person is called Win, and it says, "How at YouTooz stole my design and didn't give me a single penny in compensation. A thread. A long time ago, I made a drawing slash emote for a Minecraft YouTuber by the name of Technoblade. Before I start, however, I want to say that I do not want to bring Techno into this because it isn't his fault. This is an exposed video for YouTooz specifically. I also would like to say the same for this video. This video is not an exposed video on Technoblade or Rambo or anyone else. It's just about YouTooz, frick YouTooz. They should not be doing this to small artists. But as you see, this is them literally drawing the entire emote, so you just know it's actually them drawing it, and it's actually theirs. They're not trying to, scam YouTooz or something out of a commission fee. This is actually their drawing, and they did it as an emote for Technoblade. Next, they say a few months later, there's a high demand for a Technoblade figurine from YouTooz, and the company later released a teaser for the collectible item that looked like this and the actual product. Now there are some obvious similarities, but if you don't see them, I'm going to go ahead and point them out. The glasses, costume that Technoblade's wearing, the stripes on the plane, and the crown, just to list some of the similarities. Win continues saying, "You can already see the similarities in both the designs. It was obvious that he had used mine. After they released this teaser, I had to contact them about using my design. This should not have been the case, as if I haven't contacted them about it, they would have just stolen the design completely. They offered me credit a few Technoplane in return, which is okay, but that was all they offered. I should have been given compensation for just taking my work without asking." Just like I said before, YouTooz will always lowball you. They will try to give you the least amount possible. Like, they will completely steal your design and make you go out of your way to contact them about them having stole your design, and they'll still give you the bare minimum amount of stuff. Even though they made $100,000 off of the plushie, they'll give you like $500 and a free Technoplane, and in this case, they didn't even give them any money. which isn't fair, and they're obviously taking advantage of young, small artists that can't really defend themselves against a big company. So of course, since Win couldn't actually fight, basically they took the credit in the free techno plane, and the credit that they actually was given was just randomly placed inside of a massive block of text, and you can just see it was inspired by their ad, and they actually ended up changing their ad later on because they wanted to leave the Minecraft YouTuber community. So then after they changed their ad, they no longer had any type of credit. So this entire thing with credit is just like really weird, and I would suggest never actually taking payment of credit, because credit can always just be removed randomly and you'll never know until someone tells you. So I just wouldn't accept credit as payment. Always just accept money or some type of item in return, because credit is definitely not payment at all. They continue saying, now I had been gone from the community, and so I recently had come across the fact that they ended up making plushies from the design too. Nowhere does it say I made the design, and they never credit me for this one either. Not a single ounce of credit or compensation. So apparently there was also another situation where the artist only got paid $50 commission fee after YouTooz stole their entire design. Now I don't really know much about this situation, so I'm not going to talk about it, but just know that also possibly exists, and YouTooz is also really scummy for that, if these situations weren't already enough. Now moving on to this last situation, I found this tweet that had about 2,100 likes, and it says, someone bought a website YouTooz wanted, they got mad and blocked them off their platforms, refunded his orders, asked him and his parents to sell it, and then sent a cease and desist claiming defamation. So here's the first screenshot. We can actually see, hi Alex, saw you snatched up YouTooz.com, we'll be able to buy it from you. Now as you can see on the other screenshot, they actually got banned out of the r/YouTooz subreddit for simply not selling their website domain. Then we have another screenshot of them allegedly having their entire order declined and refunded just because of the situation with the domain and them not wanting to sell it. Then the last screenshot is just a email that YouTooz probably sent to Alex, and at the end of the situation, YouTooz actually somehow ended up getting the domain. I'm not sure what happened past there, but they ended up getting it, and if you try to go to that domain today, it basically just redirects back to YouTooz. So they basically just wasted this entire domain and didn't even use it in the first place. This entire situation was basically for nothing. But it does show how scummy YouTooz actually is with all these horrible business practices of just stealing from smaller artists. And you might be asking, why do they actually steal from smaller artists instead of just hiring someone on Fiverr to actually make them a design? Well, basically these smaller artists that are actually making these designs are actually really good, and also they know how techno's plane looks, they know all the inside jokes inside the community, and they just make really good designs compared to some random guy at YouTooz that they paid to make the design. But what YouTooz could do instead that would be great is actually support these smaller artists by paying them to actually use their designs and giving them a commission fee, or just paying them in general some type of money to actually use the design instead of just stealing it. Because in that case, YouTooz would actually look great if they started doing this instead of just stealing it and looking horrible. Then the artist has to expose them with an entire thread and all of this, when they could have just paid the artist inside of the first place $500, and they most likely would have just let them use the design. Anyways, just tell me your opinion down below. Personally, I'm not going to be purchasing any YouTooz products until they stop stealing from these smaller artists, because this is honestly horrible, and justice definitely needs to happen for all these artists to actually get what they deserve. Anyways, make sure you like the video to support me as a small creator that basically just started their channel not too long ago. And also, if you like this video, click one of these 4 videos on the screen. It'll really help me out, and chances are if you like this video, you'll also like those. Subscribe, and peace.